Good day, fellow webheads! Today, I'll be showing you how to create Spider Fuser suit mods using AI drawing apps and Suit Studio to create awesome custom suits. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first, we'll need a reference image of the suit we want to make. For this tutorial, I'll search for a classic Spider-Man suit, and I specifically want the animated version. I'll be choosing this image right here. Now, what we need to do is create a full body model for the suit mod we want to make. In this video, I'll be using Google Gemini, but you can use any AI tool you prefer. All we need is our reference image and a proper prompt to generate the model. Our goal is to get a clean full body model that looks something like this. Once we have our model, we can now start extracting each body part for the suit mod. Just upload the generated model and use a prompt like this. You can also reuse the same prompt for other body parts as well. For now, I'll start with the head. And there we go. Now we have the head model facing the front, left, right, and back. The next thing we need to do is crop these images properly. I'll start with the head first. We want the images to look something like these, clean and centered for easier mapping later on. Now open Suit Studio. Click this button here and go to the Brushes section. Import the image we created as a brush. Make sure the color is set to white, and we can adjust the brush size using this slider right here. Now what we need to do is click this button so we can start mapping the image onto the suit model. I think the size is a little too big, so I'll click the undo button and adjust it first until I get the size that I want. Once we're satisfied with the front part, we can export it as an image. Then we can proceed with the side parts. Just repeat the same steps. We can also use the mirror tool to copy one side to the other side, which saves a lot of time. For this part, we need to pay attention to the placement of the jawline and the eyes. Try adjusting the size and position carefully so it matches properly with the front texture. Once everything looks good, export it as an image, then proceed to the back part. With that, we're now finished with the back part of the head. Let's export it now. Then, let's open our drawing tool. I'll be using ibisPaint X for this tutorial. Create a new project using the first image we exported, which is the front-facing head texture. After that, add the second image, which is the side view. Then add the back part as well. I'll also add the suit mod template so I can use it as a guide later on. Just make sure to lower its opacity to make it easier to work with. Now let's hide the layers that we won't be using yet. Take note that proper layer organization is very important for this method. So now, we'll start working on the second layer, which is the side view, and blend it with the first layer, which is the front view, by erasing the unnecessary parts from the second layer. Here is where you can find the tools. This is where you can adjust the brush size, and these are the undo and redo buttons. For now, these are the main tools that we'll need. So let's start focusing on this layer first. I personally recommend using the front layer for the eyes, since it usually gives a cleaner result. Make sure to erase enough detail to make the textures connect smoothly. This part really helps if you think creatively and visualize how the texture wraps around the model. Now let's do the same thing with the other side. And now, let's unhide the third layer and repeat the same process for the back part. Here, I'm already thinking about which web lines will connect later on, so it's important to stay mindful of that while editing. So, yeah, I think this looks good enough. Now let's start fixing the texture by coloring the missing parts. Use the eyedropper tool to extract the color we want, then use that color with the pen tool to repair and connect the pieces together. Make sure that you're drawing on the top layer and below the suit mod template layer, so you can properly cover the seams and imperfections. Again, be careful with the parts that you think you'll still use later. Then cover the areas you think are unnecessary. Now I'll unhide the suit mod template again, so we can use it as a guide for the edges and placements like this. Before unhiding the guide, make sure to extract the color you want to use first. Also, double check that you're still drawing on the top layer and not directly on the suit mod template. Here, I'm just tracing the edges from the guide since that's all we really need. Once we're done, we can hide the guide again for a cleaner workspace. Now that we're done with the base texture, we can proceed with the webbing details. First, extract the black color, then make sure we're using a solid pen brush for this part. Adjust the thickness depending on what looks best for the suit style we're making. And now, we simply draw and connect the lines to complete the web patterns. We just repeat the same process for the rest of the parts of the head until it is entirely complete. we're finally done! All we need to do now is save the mod we made as an image. After that, let's open Suit Studio again and import the completed texture mod so we can check how well it fits on the model. And yes, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I especially like how accurate the eyes look and how well the web patterns connect across the different parts of the suit. Now let's start making the torso part. The idea here is basically the same as what we did with the head. First, make copies of the torso reference. We'll need the front, sides, and back views. Then, import these parts as brushes in Suit Studio so we can plot them onto the suit model. For this part, you really need to be mindful when placing the textures, especially the details that connect the front and back sections. So first, I'll export the front together with the back part. Then after plotting the sides, I'll export that separately as well. Just a quick reminder and tip. You can't always rely on the mirror tool, especially if you're making a realistic or more 3D looking suit. Most realistic models have different tones, shadows, highlights, and lighting on each side. Because of that, it's usually better to create separate images for each side instead of simply mirroring them. It takes more effort, but it makes the final suit look way more detailed and accurate. Now, we have 2 extra layers ready. Let's go back to ibisPaint X. Since we're already satisfied with the head part, we can now merge its layers. Then, let's import the new image we created as another layer below the suit template, since the template should always stay on top for guidance. If we want the head to become visible again, we can simply erase these parts here so the head layer shows through properly. Now, we just repeat the same process we did earlier with the head. Let's erase the unnecessary parts first. After that, we'll start fixing the details by coloring and blending the textures just like we did earlier. As you can see, the suit mod template is extremely useful for aligning details and making the texture fit properly. We can also use other tools to improve the blending of colors and make the transitions smoother.
Wanna taste the pain? I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging, look deep within. I get lost in the feeling, I just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change, and I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging, look deep within. I get lost in the feeling, I just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging, look deep within. I get lost in the feeling, just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change, and I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging, look deep within. I get lost in the feeling, just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game, yeah.
So once we're done, we can save everything as an image again. Then let's open Suit Studio to check how well the torso turned out. And yes, I honestly really like it. Look at how clean the details turned out. The texture connections look much smoother now. I'm honestly excited to see how good this suit will look once we add the arms and legs later on. So, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for part 2. There's still a lot more to learn, including more tips and tricks for creating Spider Fuser suit mods. So as always, enjoy swinging webheads.